made of all these members in the task team was between 1.2 million and 1.6 million per month. It seems to me there were 3 groups of 20 people, none of them cops. We were all promised that after we had been doing this work for 5 years, we would each receive 5 million rand in cash. What is these allegations clearly very serious? What's happened to this? Has a case been opened? Is it being investigated? What's the status of these allegations?
Chairman, we supplied a copy of this. In fact, no, we supplied the original of this in terms of Section 27 of the NPA Act to IDAC. And we supplied a copy of this to a senior investigator who works for IPID and is based in KZN. And we have left them to get on with it. So we would have probably pursued it a bit further, but given the fact that I was being accused of having captured IPID and having captured the NPA and having run the country, we decided just to file these complaints and leave them to get on with it. So I don't know what's been done about it.
Okay. When is the last time that you made any follow-up or inquiries?
In August last year.
And this person who deposed to this affidavit came to you, approached you.
Yeah, we didn't know him from a bar of soap. In fact, we have a toll-free number. It's 0800 118 118. And that's the toll-free number for Forensics for Justice. And it's an unmanned phone, but people phone and leave messages. And he phoned there, and we've got a tape recording of that as well. And he phoned there and said that he wanted an urgent meeting. And then I spoke to him on the phone and I tape recorded that as well. And in the tape recording, he said that he was involved in killing people and it was getting to his conscience. And him and another person wanted to come and see me. So I met with him first, and the other person was supposed to see me afterwards, but the other person allegedly shot and killed himself the day before he was supposed to come and see me, which only left this person. So that's why I've redacted everything that can be used to identify his name.
Do you know where this person is or what the whereabouts, given?
Yes, we do. And we've passed that information on. So unredacted version of this is with IDAC, the original of it. And if you have a look, Chairman, there's a whole interview of 60 or 70 pages from page 644 right through to page 790 is the transcript. It's a redacted transcript because some of the things he says in there clearly
of your interview.
Yes, and it was like a 4-hour interview over a long period of time. I think we stopped and then we carried on again.
And who was with you when you conducted the interview?
The person that was with me, that name has been redacted. One of my staff from Forensics for Justice and a person who I call Peter Piper, because I wanted somebody that wasn't involved with Forensics for Justice to be present.
Okay.
So I've just called that person Peter Piper, but that's not his real name.
Right.
And that person was present, and that person's a Zulu-speaking individual because the person we were interviewing spoke English quite well, actually, but he knew, the person that was with us knows about these areas in KZN, so he was able to ask questions about this and that and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah. Our time is really now limited. To deal with the slush fund, the Secret Service account, which, as I mentioned, it's dealt with by you in the part, which is headed the slush fund, the Secret Service account.
What's the paragraph number?
It's from paragraph 64 onwards.
Okay. So,
And we've also heard some evidence. Obviously, the extent to which we accept it as evidence, corroborated and confirmed, of Mr. Mkhwanazi. But you make several allegations about General Mkhwanazi and his alleged conduct regarding the slush fund. You raise questions about it, about crime intelligence, involvement in operational functions, and so on, at paragraph 80.
yeah. So, Chairman, during its testimony at the Madlanga Commission and at this ad hoc committee, General Mkhwanazi repeatedly talked about informers that were supplying him with information. Now, it's not the function of somebody that doesn't have security clearance to manage informers. And General Mkhwanazi had no security clearance. Plus, he wasn't working in crime intelligence. It's a function of crime intelligence to manage informers. And that is the purpose of the slush fund. The slush fund, actually, its real name is the Secret Service account. And that money is supposed to be used to pay the informers to get information pertaining to criminal activity. And then if the information is good and it results in arrests, the informers get paid. Now, what I couldn't understand is how General Mkhwanazi was able to claim at the Madlanga Commission and in Parliament that he was managing informers. And I have made the suggestion at paragraph 81, Chairman, that if the committee wants to get to the bottom of the root of all evil in the police, it needs to start with the slush fund. Because if they can stop the wanton theft of millions of rand, which is stolen in secret and spent in secret with zero accountability, and in fact, the loose strings around the purse of the slush fund results in inside factional battles within the police, because many senior police officials want to get their hands on these taxpayer funds. And it's a fact of life that in 2012-2013 financial year, the slush fund budget was 98 million rand a year. In the 13 years since then, it's grown to 600 million rand a year, which is a 500% increase. During the same period, Chairman, we've had inflation of 113%. So we have not seen a concomitant drop in serious crime. In fact, we've seen the opposite. We've seen crime increase in the last 13 years.
Okay, there's just another two topics I need to cover with you quickly. The one is the now infamous, notorious braai that you had at what used to be Kretsche's house. What was that gathering? Did you conspire there? Who was there? Did you conspire there to do anything, to frame anyone?
No, Chairman, I was
anyone?
in fact flying overseas. I was flying to Vienna on the night of that braai. And it was the end of the year. The people that are stated to be at the braai by Mkhwanazi and General Mokateri. So Cedric Mkhwanazi was not invited to the braai, but he turned up. The persons that were invited to the braai, and it was just an informal braai of 2 hours, was Robert McBride, General Sabir, who by that stage was no longer in the police. He was, I think, working for the Johannesburg City Council. And there were some of my staff there. And the late Mandla Mashlangu was there. And there was a journalist there, but the journalist was there to talk about a new book that she'd just published about Radovan Krejcir. And that's why we decided to have the braai at Radovan Krejcir's house, because she was launching the book that she'd written about Radovan Krejcir. And I asked the person who owned the house if we could have a braai there. And that's what we did.
And what did you discuss? Was it just an end of year braai? Was it just a social gathering, or did you meet for any particular purpose?
It was a 2-hour social gathering. And I was quite surprised to see the number of people that turned up, because from IPID, there were probably 6 or 7. I invited Mandla Mashlangu, the late Mandla Mashlangu, and I invited Robert McBride. I invited Matthew Sissoko, but he didn't come. And there were 1 or 2 others, but I can't remember their names now, plus Cedric and Kabindi. And actually, if things that happened afterwards hadn't have happened, I wouldn't have even remembered Cedric and Kabindi's name. He alleged that there were people there from AfriForum and the DA. There were nobody there from AfriForum, and there were nobody there from the DA. So all these things were fabricated. He also alleged...
Any journalists there?
Angelique Serrao. She made a book about, or she published a book then, that same week, about Radovan Krejcir. So, and she gave everybody a copy of the book. So that was now your house. You bought it from Krejcir. No, it wasn't my house.
Is it Krejcir's house?
No, it was never Radovan Krejcir's house. So I don't really know.
Okay.
Well, you know, there's a whole fabrication that was Radovan Krejcir's house. It was never Radovan Krejcir's house. The house in question is owned by a company, and the owner of that company, I asked him, can we use the house? Radovan Krejcir used to live there.
Oh, I see. Okay. Now, the July 6th press conference held by General Mkhwanazi, you deal with it from paragraph 91 onwards. Paragraph 91 on 1 July 2025, following the arrest and appearance in court, where 5 generals and 2 brigadiers, all from crime intelligence, based on complaints laid by myself and others pertaining to nepotistic corruption within crime intelligence, I caused my attorney to write a letter of demand to General Masemola demanding the suspension of these 7 crime intelligence people. Within hours, General Masemola responded to the letter of demand, fobbing me off with a tough response, thereby removing the urgency. When did you lay those complaints?
Chairman, I met with the Office for the Inspector General of Intelligence in January of 2025. And I supplied them, we carried out some research, and we were able to identify the company which had bought these properties. We received the tip-off. It's probably the same tip-off that the Honorable Fadi L. Adams and Honorable Carla Barnard received. And we also got it. We have a anonymous email address that we use. And we got this tip-off, and I decided to carry out some research. And I wrote to the Inspector General of Intelligence. They asked me for a meeting. and I handed over, we got copies of the.
So
toll
sorry,
free.
just repeat the dates. I just missed it.
It was it's, one of the annexes is my email to the Inspector General of Intelligence. I'm not quite sure which of them it is without looking at the annex list. In section H.
Where's 30?
It's page 294. So 294 of my submission is the email that I sent to the Inspector General of Intelligence. This was after the meeting, summarizing.
And what's the date of that? No.
The email is the 16th of February, 2025, but we had the meeting in January. And he asked me to do further research, which